Andrew has written 2 books and will be highlighted in another book by Jonah Goldberg coming out called Proud to Be Right, and that's coming out in October. Andrew.
It's hard to follow. It's a tough act to follow the speakers who have already gone today, but I'm going to try my best. I thought it would be appropriate when working on this speech to remind everybody today, Tax Day 2010, that no one loves a tax collector, but it is equally true that taxes are the price we pay for civil society. However, as with anything else in life, there are proper and improper taxes. And the federal government has perverted the law, which is supposed to ensure equal justice, into an instrument of plunder. The Constitution gives the federal government the right to tax for services necessary to protect the natural rights of its citizens and to secure peace. However, many of the current departments of government, like the Departments of Housing, Energy, Education, and Health and Human Services, have no constitutional basis. Nowhere does the Constitution give the federal government the power to engage in income redistribution. This health care bill that was signed into law by the President on March 26, 2010, represents the largest expansion of government since the Great Society. Make no mistake, behind the empty promises to lower health care costs, this bill is nothing other than an instrument to redistribute income on the grandest scale and increase the amount of power the federal government has over our lives.
Vote him out.
The Democrats' year-long crusade for health care reform has revealed that this debate was never about policy, but rather it was about a paternalistic ideology that is entirely at odds with our historical commitment to individual liberty, personal responsibility, and limited government. This massive health care overhaul will exacerbate the very problems this reform effort sought to address. It will dramatically worsen our already deteriorating economic and fiscal conditions. It will increase taxes and regulation, and it will make millions more Americans dependent on the federal government. As a result of this bill, health care costs and premiums will grow at a faster rate than they would have if nothing were done at all. And in fact, the dominoes from this bill are already falling. The state of Massachusetts instituted a similar health care reform plan only 4 years ago. And following the implementation of that plan, insurance premiums shot up at a faster rate than the national average. The reason that health care in Massachusetts costs more than anywhere else in the nation, according to the state insurance regulators, is not because of waste, fraud, abuse, and profit-seeking, as some politicians would have us believe. Rather, it's because of the underlying cost of health care, which the Massachusetts plan only made worse.
That's right. Amen. Yeah.
The problem is so severe in Massachusetts that in April of this year, the state's 3 largest nonprofit insurance companies submitted 274 requests for premium increases over the coming year. And despite the fact that 3 of the 4 largest insurance companies in Massachusetts suffered operating losses in 2009, Democratic Governor Deval Patrick rejected 235 of the claims. The arbitrary rate cap imposed by the governor will result in another $100 million in collective losses this year, making it impossible for these companies to pay the anticipated claims. In response to the crisis, insurers simply stopped selling policies. State officials then demanded that the insurers, under the threat of fines and other regulatory punishments, resume offering quotes and return the rates back to year-old base premiums. Let that one sink in. Under threat of force, the government coerced private companies to act against their own best interest and ultimately their own fiscal solvency. Remember when the president said repeatedly, if you like your current health care plan, you can keep it. Well, it doesn't take a genius to point out that you can't keep a plan that is no longer in business. So what is the likely outcome of this for America on a grand scale? There are two likely scenarios for the American public. One, the government will nationalize companies that inevitably fail as a result of this health care plan and run them like public utilities, like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The taxpayers will be on the hook to fund these public utilities, and millions of unsuspecting Americans overnight will find themselves under the control of government-run health care. The second possible outcome is that the government will accept the insurance companies' rate increases and simply increase taxes on the general public in order to fund the federal subsidies being paid to individuals to purchase private plans. The final outcome will be to soak the taxpayers. But despite the